James Hodge, you, I'll be honest with you, brother. I had something pretty witty, and then I started messing. We were talking, and I started messing with some buttons, and I was like, "Hey, let's go ahead and do this." I didn't even hear if you said go ahead and go. I just fucking went.
Yeah, man, just go ahead and go.
Let's go ahead and go, man. How you doing, bud? You good?
Good. I lost your video though. I can't see you anymore.
Oh, here, let me.
Makes me sad.
Well, hold on. I'll put my beautiful. Put them right back up in your grill. Is that better?
No, I still don't see anything.
Oh, well, hold on. I can fix that. For you, normally when someone comes on, I'd be like, I don't care what you can and can't see. Don't be stupid. But it's you. So 1 second.
Oh, all right. That's.
Oh, okay. See, there we go. Better? Closer?
No.
Oh.
No, not a thing.
Yeah, well. You can hear me, and that's enough. Man, I was gonna have everybody come on here with us, like Marco and JC and Amy. For some reason, whenever I have a chance to hang out with you, I get selfish and I kick everybody away.
Well, it's because I'm amazing and I'm handsome and all those things that make your eyes go all fluttery. So I get it.
Yeah, see, it's that kind of sincere honesty and humbleness.
Yep.
Dude, we've been friends 20 plus years. You were seriously by far the person I've been friends with the longest.
Really? That means you burned a lot of bridges for the people that you knew before we met.
I just didn't care too much. Well, you burned a couple of those for me, but
yeah, you burned a lot more for me than I ever burned for you.
Oh, yeah.
You got to at least take credit for that.
I set those fuckers on blaze.
You damaged a lot of relationships in my life. Like that's.
No, I wouldn't say like it wasn't like a crazy amount, a lot, but I mean it was more than most friends burn for their friends. Was that fair?
Yeah. I mean that's legit.
Like it's not like I woke up every morning and said, "Who can I make hate James today?"
No, it wasn't that. It was more just the sheer force of your charm and
Yeah.
presence that would just push people
or
running away.
Telling girls that we both jumped a bunch of dudes that we didn't, to try to
randomly. Yeah, that was fun.
I will still
I got confronted
never forget that
in the
day.
bathroom.
I will never forget that day. I think that is the second maddest you've ever been at me, to where you walked up to band practice and you had this piece of paper with 75 names on it.
Yeah, you had 75 people sign, or not, just because of some dumb stuff you said. Like, it was crazy.
I said that we jumped a bunch of dudes.
Explain the full context of this. Yeah, you said like we jumped a bunch of dudes. Like, first off, I'm not jumping a bunch of people with you, Billy. You're terrible at fighting.
Back then, yeah. Back then, yeah. But then, unfortunately, it came to a thing I love to do when I drank, but not now. Anyway, I basically...
You got that cool shaped head and beard, so...
Yeah,
you like that? You not?
Well, man...
You not roll like you're...
I can't do the whole looking bald thing. I got a little girl. I don't want her to grow up, and when she sees like a George Costanza, and it reminds her of me. That's not what I want. Like I
mean, that's fair. You'd rather her see Bam, that wrestler with the flaming shirts, and
better than George Costanza. You know, at least that was a character.
Fair enough.
That was a character. Like nobody ever showed off pictures of their George Costanza dad and be like, "Look at my dad, he was cool." Not even the real life George Costanza.
I think nobody ever showed off their Bam looking dad either. Look how cool my dad is. Maybe they did.
Maybe.
I mean, your dad's kind of a George Costanza, and he was cool.
He's more of a Rick Moranis. A
little bit. I can see that. I see that.
I love Rick Moranis.
Your dad's definitely the kind of guy I can see reminding me to do my math homework. So
Yeah, he did remind me to do my math homework a lot. I love Rick Moranis. I have a Rick Moranis action figure. No shit.
Good,
Yeah,
because Rick Moranis is amazing.
you
What are we
should.
talking about here? This is just
I don't know.
randomness.
My point of everything here is we've been friends for a long time, and I have a question for you now. You've had a lot happen to you in the past 4 years. I mean, you went viral with a page. Almost everything you post gets a lot of views. You have a lot of people that look for you in a time of just bullshit, stupid things in our world. A lot of people look to you to get a laugh out of it. And I think it's great. And most of it was all making fun of the president. I'm not even going to say his name. Former, soon to be former president. But what are you going to do now that he's gone? Like, was that your 15 minutes? You got 4 years. That's longer than 15 minutes.
I think it's adorable that you think he's gone.
Really? Well, I don't think gone.
I mean,
no, he's going to start a little country full of rednecks is what he's going to do.
He's not gonna be the president anymore, but I think his voice is probably gonna be louder because he's gonna have fewer restrictions, and he's gonna be able to go absolutely banana pants because he's not gonna have some general walking in there and being like, "Mr. President, that wasn't correct."
Yeah.
So like, but that's not like those videos. The videos that I've had that have done the best. The first one that did really well wasn't about him. It was making fun of Kellyanne Conway.
Oh yeah.
That was the first one. Most of the other ones that actually popped really well. I've only had one or two that were specifically about Trump that passed 5 million views.
Yeah.
Where in my highest views, like the 8-9 million ones, those are all more like injustice based. Like if somebody gets murdered by a cop, and like it's cathartic to a lot of people to see a guy that looks like me. And yeah, that's wrong. Because, I look like the guy that most people would be like, that guy's happy with cops.
Yeah.
Killing people.
Yeah. That guy's said some words he shouldn't have said before.
As I say occasionally on stage, this does not look like tolerance. It doesn't.
I do remember your George Floyd one. That was the one I shared. Because I was like, all right, this is legit in your face. Like, how the fuck can you feel anything except for what this guy's saying right here, type of deal.
It's funny because over the last 6 months, we see each other's Facebook posts and all that kind of stuff just on our personal pages.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that, the people who adore and admire us don't get to see.
Right.
So I was seeing a few of your posts, and there were actually a couple of times where I almost sent you a message being like, dude, you're not getting Trumpy, are you? Then I realized,
a lot of people did.
The post before that and one after.
A lot of people did.
I think you were trying to play this split the middle game where you were like, well, people have, important things to say that, it can't just be one. Like, and I get it. Like, you're not wrong, but like in this day and age, it's as Ta-Nehisi Coates puts it, it's not just enough to not be racist. You got to be anti-racist at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I'm very anti-racist. Like, that's just not even a thing. My whole thing is I like facts. So when I'm seeing something and somebody posts something that is more than likely either too shitty to be true or too good to be true, or there's sides making valid points that it may not be true and there's no facts for it, that's where I'm like, shut up, you don't really know. Like,
right.
That's not a split the middle thing. That's just like, I want to know exactly what's going on. I don't want to base it off what a bunch of people are saying. I want to know. I want to see it.
Right, but you can also go up a lot of times, and this is something that a lot of us are lazy about, is you can usually go get a whole lot of information if you actually take the time to go find it, and you don't get your information off Reddit and crap like that. If you really go digging in, like when all the election stuff was going on the other day and people were just freaking out, like going bananas thinking like, oh no, Trump's going to win again. Like very basic looking into what the numbers were, how many votes were mail in, how many were left to count. Like even Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, like it was abundantly clear that Biden was going to win, like fairly comfortably. And but everybody was watching the news, and the news doesn't like cable news doesn't care about anything but ratings.
Right.
Oh, they're gonna make it. It's a horse race. It's a maybe he will get, but it's no like any decent statistical modeling was making it abundantly clear that even Arizona wasn't gonna slip away. So
And what
it's
I'm saying, and it wasn't even like the it wasn't that. I can't even remember what it was, but I got a lot of message. I got a lot of hate messages from like people are like, man, come on, man. Like I thought you were an ally. Like some of my black friends up in New York were like, I thought you were an ally, man. Nah, you're are you for Trump? Are you serious? And I'm like, for one, I mean, come on, you know me better than that. But secondly, no, I just don't. There's a point that I've found in my life to where I have worked so hard to know exactly what's going on that I can't take any he said, she said shit with it. Like if I'm looking at one news station and they're saying this, and I'm looking at another news station and they're saying the exact opposite as a fact, both stations, I'm like, okay, neither one of them are correct.
that's not actually true because one of those news stations actually goes to court and when they get sued for libel, go to court and argue that no one actually believes the things that they say on air because they're not true. Fox News keeps winning lawsuits. Like Tucker Carlson was just sued by one of the chicks that Trump was banging for libel. Like she had, because he had gone on the air and said some crap about her that was like, and so she sued him for libel because he was saying something that was demonstrably false. And his defense in court was actually no one takes him like his lawyers were arguing that this isn't real, and that's so it's not one news station says one thing and the other says the opposite, so both are lying. One of the news stations does always lie. Not in the middle of the day when like the news shows are on, but in the evenings and that time. Like there's like those aren't real.
Right. Because not everybody can be an OAN.
Because they've got all the facts.
I had a lady call me the other day at work. Of course, I'm not going to say where I work. She was so furious that her OAN app was not showing up where it's been, and my company took it off and replaced it with a CNN app. And I need to get my shit straight, is what she said, because
I think that's
she will
I think that
not
did happen.
be
I know.
censored.
See, that's the thing. Can't say the name of the company you work for, but I know the name of the company you work for, and they're evil. So
No, I don't think they're evil. They do a lot of amazing things. The things that I get to do during the week to help
I
people.
actually really like the company you work. This is so awkward because we can't say who you work for, so
Right.
people are going to be confused.
Right.
But that is the beauty of making your living telling people jokes about wieners instead of having to have a real job like you have.
Mhm.
Is that I can say anything I want and it doesn't matter. It helps actually.
Yeah.
Like the more like straightforward I can be and not dance around stuff, like the better it actually is. Where like you have to continue caring for your child. So
See, and that when you said that of, me who makes a living, what I just heard was me who took a risk, followed my dreams, and it's paid off. Besides you who fucking settled.
No, that's
I know
not
what you
true
mean.
at all.
But no, that's
not what
that's just for me. It was
that's
funny.
not what I meant because you spent way more years chasing dreams than I did.
That's true.
When I actually tried, it worked out faster.
That's true. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, as far as I got in music, I never really fucking tried. Like, I was there for the party. Like, I didn't care.
Hey, but like you did try, like you got the 8-foot rod, like you packed up equipment, like you like that's the thing. Like I think you and I both love to sell ourselves as like, man, I'm just along for the ride and it just works out for me because I'm that good. But the truth of the matter is we've both put work in. We've both hustled and and you did have a really, really good level of success when you were pursuing music. And part of that was because you were trying. Like, I think that's the lesson that, like, we grew up with we watched too many
Too
movies
many.
about you can't, oh, you don't want to be a sellout. Like what was that movie with Ethan Hawke and Reality Bites? We
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
Reality Bites too many times and we thought we wanted to be that dude. And in the end, like the real hero of that movie, like the dude that was doing it right, was Ben Stiller's character. We were just too angry and douchey at the time to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the end of Reality Bites, like she picked the wrong guy. They broke up 6 months later.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're absolutely right. And what was the other one? Empire Records.
Empire Records,
That one,
singles,
the
like
fairy tale movies.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
what
It's
it
all about
is.
the guy that's I'm gonna be hardcore and I'm not gonna sell out and like what was the one that Cusack did in the record store? High Fidelity?
High
Is that what it is?
Fidelity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
that was
that
more
one,
of a
like the
realistic one though. I just
yeah, but
watched
it was
that the other night
a
with
record
my
store.
partner.
Yeah.
She had never seen it before. She was like,
Oh,
"This
yeah.
is one of my new favorite movies." I'm like, "Yeah." And then we
It's a
watched
good
Gross
movie.
Point Blank, and she loved that.
Well, that's because John Cusack's amazing.
He's really good in Utopia on Amazon.
Gotta watch it. I haven't watched
Dude,
it yet. I keep seeing stuff, and I gotta check it out. Dude, have you watched Queen's Gambit yet?
I am not. Is it good?
Very good, and that's one to watch with your old lady. So
Yeah, yeah. We'll check that one out too. We're
like
still.
it's surprisingly good. It's like Searching for Bobby Fischer, but with like a girl and like a
Ooh.
better story.
So it
So,
could literally still be searching for Bobby Fischer,
yeah, except that it's just much better.
i.e., right?
Saying something because that's a really good movie. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a 10 episode series on the old Netflix.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out too. I think you make a really good point about you're right, and you tried, and you put everything you had into comedy. You had some really good shows, Dave Chappelle. I mean, I'm not even going. You got to go out on the road, do everything else. You know, back when comedy was relevant, it was just 8 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It'll be back. It'll be back, Billy.
oh, it will.
Question is, will you be? See,
I
because
don't
that's
know.
the thing.
I don't
Like,
know.
the question is going to be, will you be back?
I don't know.
Comedy's going to be back, and it's going to be fine. The question is, are you going to opt for, pursuing it in the future or being like, you know what, that's great, but that's not as fulfilling as hanging out with this kid, so.
And see, that's where I am, dude, because I did a show. I was just telling you before we started this, I just did a show like 2.5 weeks ago, and it was a 20-minute set. 15 minutes into it, something clicked in my head. I'm like, I got to tank this. And I just tanked it. Like, bad. Like, to the point where everybody was like, I could tell they were looking at me like, did something just happen? Are we watching somebody else now? Like, I did it
You
on
also
purpose.
haven't been doing sets in 8 months.
No.
And, 20 minutes is a long time when you haven't been up.
And
I'm sure there was a
do...
part of you that did consciously make that choice.
It did.
But then there's also part of maybe what made that choice happen was your brain realized, uh-oh, we're about done. And prepared you psychologically for it by letting you make it feel like a choice.
I don't know. I think I did the dumb thing by I did nothing as a warm up. I went straight into brand new stuff that I had never even tried at a mic before, and I did 15 minutes of that.
Minutes.
Yeah,
but that was working.
It was working, and it wasn't like a normal set where I knew it was gonna hit, but
right.
it was all right. But then at the end, I tanked it. But I tanked it. I was thinking too, because halfway through, because I got to the part where I was talking about my daughter and about how that day she pooped in the toilet and then grabbed it out of the toilet to run around and show me that she had done it. And that was like the scariest thing I've seen as a parent. Like that's where I'm like, no, I can't. I can do poop, can't do puke. I cannot do puke. Everybody got sick here 2 weeks ago. I couldn't touch it. No way.
Dude, all that stuff will work itself out. Like, eventually, you know what? in a couple more years, you're not even gonna have to touch your kid's poop. Like, it's gonna be great for you. So
No. It wasn't about that, but my point is, I got to that part about telling you, I started to miss. I started to think, I'm like, man, what's my lady doing at home? Are the kids asleep? Is Tilly sleeping okay? I hope she's not. I hope she's able. And then after that, I was like, all right, I got to get out of here. I got to go home. I feel guilty for being here and not being at home and being a
no, but
parent.
like we talked about this. We talked about this before you had the kid.
Mhm.
There was gonna be that, like, get through. By the time she's hitting two, what did you say? She's 16 months old, 18 months old now.
Getting ready to be 16 months, yeah.
So, by the time she's two, you're gonna, actually, you're gonna be like, all right, this is fatherhood is incredibly fulfilling, but also you need, some creative outlets.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're gonna, it happens to everybody. But
I hope so. I hope it's just a thing. I hope it's just a thing. Because I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit here in my little green cubicle. And, dude, other night I went live just because I was bored. And I just sat here with a camera and had the hotline up. People called in. It was fun. But for like the first 20 minutes, I just sat here and I was just talking to myself. And like that's as like outgoing and creative I'm getting. I know it's ridiculous.
That's fine. That's where life is right now, though. You're gonna just keep finding those outlets. You're gonna keep finding those opportunities, and you're gonna take advantage of them, and it'll all work out.
You're so wise in the fact that you know
That I
this
still can't
because
see.
you already have 5 kids. So you know this. So I'm going to take your word for it. 4, excuse me. 4 that we know of. 4.
Is there one, like, are you telling me something now? It's like, is this a Maury Povich episode?
Yes, James, you got me pregnant.
Tell me.
When we were 22 and we were doing all those things, you got me pregnant.
I mean, you might have been there when I got somebody pregnant.
I don't know why you can't see me. Like, I can't see your screen, so I can't tell you where to click. But you should see. Look in the top, bottom right, and top right.
It's 2 little boxes circling around each other.
Oh. Here, let me do this then. Yeah. Let me unshare this. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that because it takes your video away. Because I'm a professional. Yeah, I don't know, man. You should be able to do it.
I don't know. It'll work. Whatever. I can still make magic happen even when I can't see you.
So what happened to you the other day?
I can see you on my phone.
Yeah?
I can see you on my phone. Like, but it's not synced up just right, so I have the sound turned down. But I can tell you're there. Like, you're not flipping me off right now.
Not yet.
Or at least you weren't 8 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm. I muted you to do that.
If it catches up.
What happened?
Now I just saw myself hold my phone up.
I saw a video the other day with you talking about something, and I didn't have time to watch it, but it was something, and you started to tell me about it earlier about Facebook taking your shit down, or what was it?
So Facebook is actively attempting to seek out speech that people find uncomfortable and make it go away as much as possible. And they do that by, if someone reports something you post, then they go and look at it, and pretty much they're shutting down almost anything that gets reported now. Where it used to be they would look at it and a person would see it and be like, oh, that's not. But so I had posted a joke, and I'm going to read you the exact joke that I posted because I don't want people to be like, oh, he probably did say something terrible and he just doesn't want to say it. So this was the joke that I had posted onto Twitter. And you tell me if this is hate speech, Billy.
Okay.
Based on the CNN exit polls, every single racial and educational group voted Democrat except for non-college educated white people. A polite way of saying everyone voted for Democrats except dumb white people.
No, that's not hate speech. I mean, maybe to dumb white people. I mean,
I
but that's not
mean,
hate speech.
that's not what hate speech means. Like that's
No,
not what the
it's not the
word
definition. No,
means.
but isn't anything
Right.
right now in a cancel culture? The definitions are kind of watered down and blurred of a lot of things.
No, what's happening is because they have had to take down because the PC culture thing is garbage. That's nonsense. There's
Yeah.
no such. It's people that didn't have voices before are just also expressing their displeasure. Like if you say something stupid or that they disagree with, they're allowed to say, "I don't agree with that." And for some reason, people think that means that somebody's been canceled because like people think their Twitter feed is reality when it's not.
I don't
I mean,
know.
your Twitter feed are the people you chose to follow. That's not the world.
Right.
And so if they think if 12 people on Twitter respond to your post and go, "I consider this to be socially unacceptable and you're horrible," that suddenly that means that the whole world agrees with that point of view, which they don't. Most people don't care. Go in a comedy club. You can tell any joke you want. And unless it's very specifically about like Trump and then Trumpets get really defensive, or if it's like overtly racial without a real punchline. But other than that, you can literally say anything.
Well, yeah. I
I
mean,
could go on stage right now and do an hour of material about race, and I never have a problem with any of it. I mean, I don't.
but you're not really singling out and being hateful either.
But again, it's people who are like, "Oh, I'm getting canceled." It's kind of like, okay, I got demonetized by Facebook. First off, Facebook is a private company. They're allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Their platform. If they want to not allow me to have ads running on my videos on their platform, that's up to them.
Yeah.
My objection to it is that they designated that silly joke hate speech. And the reason it is so many, they put all these things in place to catch real hate speech. You know, when some white nationalist goes on there and goes, Jews will not replace us, and, and all that kind of stuff. Like, there needs to be a way to, go, that's not what we want on our platform. But because of that, all those reporting tools that they put in place to catch actual hate speech don't have enough employees to actually on eye all this stuff. So when somebody reports something, their algorithm goes through it. If it sees
Yeah.
something about race, it just assumes and it boots you out.
Yeah.
So it's a scale issue and their inability to actually pay attention to what's happening.
Right.
Not I mean, I'm not gonna sit around like I'm Candace Owens. The same thing happened to Candace Owens. I mean, it's not like I'm, somehow I'm just the, the liberal white dude that happened to get
Right. Right.
demonetized.
So did they take down your videos, or did they
Took
just
a couple that I think had been reported but hadn't been reported enough, because that's the thing. My videos themselves, the videos never get taken down, because I'll post a video and if it gets 100,000 views and 6,000 likes or 12,000 likes and it gets reported as something 8 times, their algorithm recognizes that that's not actually a problem.
right?
If I post something like what I posted, it was a screenshot of a tweet that I posted on Instagram that happened to also just share over to my Facebook page because I had them linked. That isn't going to get 12,000 likes.
Right. Right.
So the balance out when that gets reported, not as many likes, that's why that's something. And see, that was my mistake. I shouldn't have things going from Instagram to my Facebook. That's just something I got to correct, because I got to see, the key is with any of this stuff is we have to understand how their algorithms work. Because as long as we know how their algorithms work, we can avoid getting sucked into those kind of rabbit holes.
Or you
And,
can just go to Parler, because it's so free. Because there's no way that is a tool by other social media companies to pigeonhole hate speech and put the worst people on one platform so they can just live on a little island and we don't have to worry. There's no way tech companies would do that.
Yeah, that couldn't be it. Or it couldn't also be the fact that like dudes are going on there like so many people have been fired in the last week, left Facebook, straight to Parlor and immediately started saying the racist things that they actually believe, like wide out in the open, and then people who like also joined Parlor just to catch those people just finds that and then sends it straight to their boss. So
This is why, like, I love technology, but this is why I'm not a huge fan of social media. I'm not. Like, it's just look, and this is going to be a shitty thing to say, but I don't believe everybody should have a voice. Like, I don't want some fucking racist ass bitch or somebody who has to force themselves and be aggressive towards others about their beliefs. I don't know. I don't think everybody should have a voice. I wish everybody didn't have a voice. Let's say that I wish.
Here's the thing that our kids get that people, old dudes like me and you, are just now starting to learn. It's that it doesn't matter. Like the social media stuff, it doesn't matter because in the same way that you and I can stand in front of each other and speak and hear each other, everybody having a voice really means that nobody has a voice.
That's a good point.
Unless you actually take seriously the comment section on a YouTube video, or you take seriously the comment section on some viral video or whatever. Like it's like when I post a video, if it gets 5 million views, I'm able to read maybe if it gets 5 million views, that means it got at least 25 to 50,000 comments. I can't read all those, so I just don't care. If I post a video that gets 20,000 views, I'm more affected by the comments section because I see more of it than if it gets 5 million views, which is ridiculous.
I used to have a thing to where when it was a really successful video, I would just go in there and troll the fuck out of it by posting advertisements for different random products on Amazon, or go in there and spam it like it was selling Ray-Bans for me. And it was the most fun. I got so many threats, private messages from people from your posts going on there and
Dude, like one of these days I'll sit down with you and I'll actually go through and read you all the death threats I've gotten.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like it's funny because a lot of times because when I have a video that's going viral, I'm literally getting not just comments on the thing. My inbox is averaging 2 or 3 messages like a second. So there's just like no way to keep up with it. Just because, people see it and they go, oh, they don't want to call me a name. And so when I do catch one that's like a straight up death threat, I usually like to respond to them and be like, hey, man, I know you just saw some random video. Heads up, this is against the law. Like, I'm not going to do anything about this. I don't care. But like, if you do this on somebody else's video, they might actually call the law on you and like, you're going to get arrested. Usually respond back like, oh man, I didn't even think you'd ever see this, man. No, I was just messing around. I was like, yeah, dude, I don't care. It's like not a thing. And like I've actually had since I started my first video started popping and people would come out to shows, I've probably had 12 people that I actually started talking to because they made a death threat who came to shows and had a great time. And we talked afterwards.
Only you would get a death threat and be like, hey, man, want to come check out my show on Saturday? You want to come chill?
No, not even that. Like, I didn't invite them to the show. They just saw my show post because, like, after we talked, they actually followed my page. So.
Oh.
And,
man, I don't know.
Like, yeah, remember, like, because it's so funny. Like, I can get like thousands of like positive messages and like don't respond to any of them. But like, if I had the death threat when I'm like, what up? So,
well, what is your prediction about what is going to happen with everything? Do you think on January 20th, Biden's going to get sworn in?
I mean, of course he is.
Right. So you don't think
There's no actual,
there's no
there's
proof?
no legal pathway. They're already building the platform in front of the White House for the
Right.
inauguration parade.
God,
Like
man.
it's this
I
theater,
just,
Billy. It's
I,
theater.
I wish that I could hear the freakouts that guy's having about things. I got a question for you because you know a lot. Is Barr gonna stay in office, or is he gone?
No, he's gonna get fired as soon as Biden's sworn in.
Okay, good.
Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, has a 10-year appointment though, because that's in his 10-year appointment, he can only get fired for cause. So Biden can only actually fire him if he has a reason to. So Christopher Wray will still probably be running the FBI, but the Attorney General himself, well, that's like a cabinet level position. So that'll be whoever Biden appoints.
Okay.
Just like Jeff Sessions was Trump's, and before that it was Susan Rice and all that. So
Yeah. This was the first year that I actually voted and did research about. I mean, I wasn't going to vote for Trump. That's just not. It wasn't going to happen. But in 2016, I voted for Gary Johnson because I was like, I'm not voting for either one of these people. And yeah, I threw it away. And that was my first time voting for a president ever.
you didn't vote in 08?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even register the vote till I was 34, 35.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean but that's the thing. Like Ben Polis.
Yeah.
Like I love Ben Polis. You
Love
love
him.
Ben Polis.
Mm-hmm.
Ben just doesn't care about politics at all. He has no idea what's going on. Like he doesn't follow it even a little bit. So like if I'm talking to him and I mention something about what's going on, like even something that's a huge story, he's like, "Wait, what is that?"
Who did what? How is that
doesn't care.
possible?
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, so he doesn't pay attention at all. And so, I think like for me, it's the sport that I watch when football's not on, or when college basketball season's over. I watch politics like sports. So it's
See, that's the thing. Like I don't. It stresses me out too much. Like the
Not
past
real,
4 years,
Billy.
especially.
real, man.
Well, I mean, some of it is real. Like some of it is really what's going on, and it's fucking sad, is what it is. But I digress. I was just wondering because I was trying to look it up the other day. So that's where politics shouldn't be entertainment, and that's
What's real? What's real is what happened to George Floyd.
That's real.
That's real.
Right.
What's not real is the 6 weeks of coverage on Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC about what it means in the aftermath, or the Trump tweet, or Trump is just he's not even an internet troll so much as he's literally just what would happen if any other relatively normal Fox News viewer was made president. He most of his tweets are he watches Fox and Friends in the morning, and he just tweets about the show as he's watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Just knows sometimes he even says they just said on Fox and Friends. He's just an old man.
Old people
Eating out his racism. He gets reinforced from Fox News. It's really not more complicated than that. He's just an old dummy. Happens to be really, really good at marketing.
Old dummy. There's so many. That says so much. I know that's just like a basic insult, but it actually says so much. So much. And
Joe Biden's also an old dummy.
Yeah.
He's just an old dummy on our side.
Mm-hmm. They're all old dummies.
If you ever want to have a good time, go watch to the minority leader, the Republican leader in the House of Representatives. Just go listen to that guy talk for 5 minutes, and immediately you'll be like, holy crap, that dude's like Spank if Spank was 52. And he just happens to be the leadership of Congress. I've gotten lucky from, the road gigs that I've gotten to do and some of the big name people I've been able to work with, that like I've gotten to meet backstage members of Congress. I've gotten to meet backstage mayors of major cities. Most of them are dumb as a rock.
Right, and drunk.
They're not the people that run these agencies, these government agencies are usually really smart,
Mm-hmm.
but the appointees, the political appointees, they're just dummies who donated a lot of money. They opened like some dude that opens up like a fish shack happens to franchise it out. Like it's not complicated to do that. But because of that, he's got like $5 million, and so he donates 1 million of it to a political party, and he becomes the ambassador to freaking Syria. Like doesn't know anything about Syria. He's just like he just donated a lot of money to a politician, so he gets to go be an ambassador. Like these people aren't Devos, the chairman, like the secretary of education. She just happened to marry one of the dudes that founded Amway. She's got a lot of money, so she's now the secretary of education. But she's not smart.
That's horrible. That's like the one of the places you want that to be. Okay. I got a question. This is what I've been asking all my comedian friends that come on, and I'm gonna while I'm asking you this, I'm gonna open up the lines. So if anybody wants to call in,
did you like have notes for this or something?
No, I'm not prepared. I'm just hanging out with my childhood buddy tonight. Normally I put together.
Don't you look
stuff
like
to
you're
talk
trying?
about.
Is all.
Oh no, I'm just sitting here. I just farted, so I was leaning up to do that.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's nobody in here. It's fine. What do you? what has the pandemic made you realize? Better negative side and positive side about stand-up comedy. Like, has it changed your perspective of it, or has it made you realize a new way of looking at it?
No, not really.
Nothing.
I mean, I feel like it's. I think, oh, this is a terrible way to put this, but I'm hoping that the pandemic is just going to clean out a lot of the people that never really do much with it, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, like hopefully when as comedy starts back up, like if you like the Comedy Store in LA, instead of there being 350 people there to sign up for the open mic, there'll be 120. Of that 120, it's people that are actually really dedicated to it, so they'll get more stage time and they'll get better.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping happens. But what's probably going to happen is the people that are still showing up at open mics are just the ones that can still afford to do it, which means their parents support them. In that case, it's just probably going to be even worse. So.
Oh man, there's so many people that I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, there's so many people that were starting it right about the time the pandemic hit that I was like, oh man, I really hope that either they've been working hard to write during this time, or they've just it's passed. It's passed.
It's hopefully it's passed.
How has your writing been during all this?
Actually pretty good. My hit rate, and I think it's just because I haven't gotten as much stage time, so I've tried to use it a little bit better. That my hit rate's up on like the percentage, because I mean, if you really think about it, we write 10 jokes. 6 of them are all right. 2 of them are actually worth keeping around. But I've been more like 4 or 5 of them were worth keeping around.
Yeah.
But it also may have been because there's more time between shows, so I filtered out more before. But my writing is, for the last probably 4 years, so much of my writing I do on stage anyways. It's
a
little different than like the sitting down with the pen and the paper, like I still do, but it's mostly just premises.
Yeah.
And then I'll go on stage and work out what it's actually a turn into. And that tends to work a lot better because you're just in the moment and your timing's better. And when you're on stage performing and you know that cadence that you have to have on stage, you naturally respond with it more. So it's more punchline-y anyways. So.
Yeah. I've always loved just coming up with the premise and then working on it on stage. Like in my head as I'm walking around, and then I just go up and do it and then work on it. Like that's workshopping stuff like that way has always been my favorite way to write.
And you just have to be at a point where you're not afraid for it not to work anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when you first start, it's like really high stakes, because if you bomb, you have to walk around with that for a week. But if you've had enough good sets for long enough that a bad set doesn't matter, you're more willing to take risks, which means you're actually gonna find more good stuff and it's gonna work better. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fear is the thing that most comics just getting like the first 3 years, if they're really going hard at it. At the end of that 3 years, it starts to fade. At 5-6 years, it kind of just goes away. And that's usually why it takes 10 years for somebody to get really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't ever remember getting fearful about bombing. Like I didn't ever want to do it, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to bomb. Like I was just like, all right, I bombed. Cool.
The first time you caught a hot one in front of me, you were clearly a little shaken by it.
Really?
I think that was just because that's because you had been doing a few shows and you were feeling pretty confident.
Where was that?
And then I saw you do that set. It was when I came. I think you were in Virginia Beach.
Oh yeah. That was in Greenhorn. That was like within my first year.
Yeah, but you caught a hot one, and and then after the show, you spent like 3 hours talking about how all the great sets you've had. I was like, dude, I believe you. It's fine. But
that's how you can really tell a veteran that really takes the art seriously, because they're not going to tell you how many good shows they've had. They're not going to tell you how many bad shows they've had. They're really not going to start talking shop in a deep format, but like we'll sit around and we'll josh around with each other. We'll bust each other's balls. But we're not going to sit down and have a deep philosophy talk outside of an open mic about comedy. Like we're going to go there, we're going to do our shit, then we'll hang out for a while and leave.
I mean, every now and again you'll have one of those like sets where you just burn it down, and then all the newbies want to stand around in front of you and watch you hold court for a little while and tell them the ways of comedy. And it's all nonsense. You're just jabbering and babbling on.
I don't remember
look at you like you know what you're talking about.
I don't think I've stayed around at a show to talk to people, especially open mic, in 3.5 years.
That's for the best, though.
Like, I just go right before when I know I got to go, and then I do my little time, then I'm out. Like, I don't... If it's a show, a weekend, I'll stick around and say goodbye to the audience, thank them for coming out. But, like, people at the open mic, I don't sit around and talk to them. I don't even learn people's names. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, you're to that point now. Like, I went through that because, like, when I first started, I made friends with everybody. I was so excited to be in comedy.
Yeah.
Like, you're also pursuing this dream? That's cool. We should be friends. And then, like, so many of them quit. And, like, my friend, now they're gone, and it made me sad. So... then I just went through this long stretch where I didn't learn anybody's names. And so everybody thought I was being kind of a standoffish dick. But then I was like, no, I just don't want to get hurt again.
I'll straight up tell somebody I think it was Brian Simpson when he was in town. Somebody said that to me. One of the new kids was like, man, you're a nice guy. I've never talked to you before. I usually just ignore people. I'm like, I'm not ignoring, dude. But there's so many people that come through open mic doors in and out. Like, I'm not... Like, if I see you're staying around for a while and you're doing and you're really working at it, then I'll learn your name and I'll say hi and what's up and we'll hang out.
Yeah.
But
if you send me a Facebook friend request, I'll probably approve it. And, if we're at a show and you want to chat, I'll chat it up with you. It's just, I'm not going to go around going, well, hi, I'm James. It's awful nice to meet you.
Hi, everybody.
I like the fact that you're pursuing... Yeah.
That's so funny because that's how you sound when you talk to people. Hey, guys. So, hi, my name's James.
You sound like your dad?
Yeah. He's pretty great.
I love your dad.
I do that to Tilly sometimes. I'll get like, well, hello there, and she'll go, "Grandpa," and turn around and see he's not there, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's so bad. I fuck with my kids so much. Like my stepsons still haven't learned that I'm kidding with them half the time. Like they don't know when I'm being serious or not.
Yeah, that's not good. You gotta
I mean,
you gotta just scare them more. They'll know when you're serious.
well, see, well, I mean, they know if I'm being serious, but like just if I'm joking around with them and things like that, they have no idea because I keep the same face all the time.
Maybe it's just because you're not funny.
It's not about being funny. It's just things that I joke around with them with. But yeah, you're right. So this is another thing.
Oh, I'm kidding.
But now you I know you're kidding because I know you know otherwise. What I'm saying is I've written, did 15, it worked fine, and then I tanked that one show. But I have had, other than that, I have not written one fucking thing. I wrote that 15 minutes. It was probably about an hour's worth of stuff that I got down to 15 that I knew would at least get a giggle. And then, other than that, I haven't written since this whole thing started.
Yeah, but that's once you start doing shows again, if you do, I mean, you may not. You may just be like, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was something I tried. It's not really for me, though. Like, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not. It's like doing stand up is especially once you get outside of like just working within a local scene, it's a very lonely pursuit. It's a lot of travel by yourself to random places that you don't particularly even want to go to, but it's a paid gig. It's, you're at the show and like you're the center of the party at the show, but then, an hour later you're sitting at Waffle House and nobody there gives a shit. So it's,
No, they don't. In fact, they're wondering why you're there at the end of their shift.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's kind of where I'm like, Leslie here on your page says, I'm sad about Chris D'Elia. I've followed him for years and his comedy got me through my mom's cancer. Comedy is much needed in my home. And see, that is on your Facebook share on that. Thank you for posting that, Leslie, because I got off point for a second, but that is exactly where I was going with. Like, comedy is important in general. Like, it's so important to me. Writing and performing is so important to me because it's needed. It is the one true art form that is proven to help people heal and help their body heal from things like cancer. What am I trying to say?
I like that you're trying. I like that you're trying to find a nobility to it. I think that's sweet.
No, it's something that's always going to be important to me. Now, to put it bluntly, like it's not as much of a priority for me personally to do it since this whole pandemic. Like, if this pandemic thing hadn't happened, that I'd still be out doing shows because things were picking up. Like, things were really starting to pick up. And I'm like, this is awesome. Now it went down to nothing. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm a big soft tit right now. Like, my kids have made me soft. Like, they've so made me soft. Like, I go, aw now all the time. Like, aw. Like, that comes out of my mouth more than I curse. I'm like, aw.
That's a good thing. Like, you're learning empathy.
I've always had empathy. I'm just a big old plush wuss now. I'm a big, cuddly,
be happy about that.
41-year-old unproportioned ginger cuddle bear. That's all I am now.
And you're not even a ginger anymore. You're bald.
No, this is still going. I'm just saying, can you honestly say that your kids have not made you soft at all? Like, you're still the same. Like, I think I need to hear.
But we're already like I was already. I mean, but that's why we're who we are because that's why we attempt to pursue things in the arts because we're overly whiny bitches half the time. Like, it's just, it's
That's
life.
a good point. A good point, because I am still
That's
whiny
why.
bitch.
That's why we don't just. That's why we don't just work at Joe's Home Builders or whatever. And
Like how I could see, because I know you. You had like 10 businesses going through your head, and then you're like, shit, somebody might work there. Shit, somebody might work there. Shit. Joe's Crab Donkey Shack.
I was trying to not say like somewhere that like your dad worked or that like my dad worked, and then I still said Joe's Home Builders. So I was just trying to get away from what was it like.
Joe's Home Builders. Hey, when was the last time you were in a row rat?
Today.
Today? I thought your mom moved away.
Well, she's out of the lake, but it's, I mean, I still think of that as row rat. It's not. It's the lake, and that's a very different world of, filled with people with loot, but it's... But no, I mean, I was up there today. I had to put together. She got this thing to drag behind her lawnmower that picks up leaves, so I had to go put it together for her.
I think she already has some of those. They're called grandchildren.
You'd think, right? But mine aren't doing it. So
yeah, mine wouldn't either. I got to bribe mine with candy to do the dishes.
It just hit them,
man. But you can't, because I'm a stepdad. It's worse when you're the stepdad. When you hit them.
I got 2 step kids. I hit them. No, don't hit your kids. Don't hit your kids.
I mean, you could.
In a way that leaves marks.
in a way that leaves visible marks. I think, I don't know, man. I have a feeling once everything comes back around, I'll be back fine about it. But right now, like, I've turned down so many shows. You asked me if I wanted to go to Chapel Hill. I was like, no. I've had the offers down in Myrtle for the weekend. I'm like, no. Like,
I mean,
that's not a horrible one to turn down, though.
Maybe right now comedy's just not what you need to be pursuing, and like later on maybe it will be, maybe it won't, but it doesn't matter. If you don't come back to comedy, you'll find another outlet. You'll be a bluegrass band or some shit in 3 years. Who cares?
Well, also,
I
also realized that I haven't pursued it in a long time. It's just been something that I felt like I needed to do. Like, I needed to go out and vent. I needed to go out and put a mic in my hand and get on stage. Like, it was a necessity more than it was, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. I think it's been that way for a few years now. Like, because I don't get mad when people get asked on shows and I'm not one of them. I used to get pissed when I'm like, God, that fucking 4 got put on that 10 show. Like, how? Like, how is that? Or I used to get mad when I got put first. That whole ego thing, when you're like looking at the lineup and there's people who's done like 6 months and they're like, hey, you're gonna go up first. I'm like, well, why am I doing double the time that everybody's doing after me? Why am I, why are you putting me first? Like, at this last show at this theater, they're like, hey, can you go first? I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely I will. I would love to. That would be great. That means I can get out of there, come back home.
When I'm done, I can go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about. I was like, man, we have pizza at home. Pizza rolls. When's your next show?
The hardest part about not being able to see you, is that we keep talking over each other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. Normally that screen doesn't change in Discord. Now, you may just have to click back on the word panic on the left on the actual chat. You may just have to do that.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we're almost
Don't actually shut it off.
Anyway. Yeah. I mean, we're almost.
So are we going to take calls or whatever?
Yeah, it's been open. It's been open. Anybody give a call if you have a question. If you just want to say hi. If you want to talk about
the phone number.
How James Hodges made your life better. On how you have a blown up picture of him on your wall. You know what I was thinking about the other day?
The weirdest thing is when they tattoo my face on things.
Even when they do it right, it looks weird. Couldn't do it.
It does.
Do you have any tattoos with faces on them? Like, do you have a character? I can't do that. I can't. Like, there's no way I'm gonna trust somebody, even if they've done it right a million times. I'm not trusting someone to put a lifelike tattoo of somebody's face on my body.
Totally see you getting like your daughter's name tattooed on you or something creepy like that.
Right there. It's just very delicately inside that pedal, so it's not like paw prints on your neck or something, like hand prints.
I want to get tiger claws on my neck, and in the scratch, I want the names of all my offspring.
I don't trust people with face tattoos.
I don't trust anybody but people with face tattoos.
I don't.
That guy needs that job.
Right. Well,
he can't get fired from AutoZone.
It depends.
He's got to be really good at finding alternators for your car, because he can't. There's nobody else going to hire him. Like, you find somebody with face tattoo in customer service, you make sure that's who you go to, because that guy is going to help.
Right.
Like, his boss was like, he was either so amazing that the person hiring him looked past the face tattoo, or he's been there long enough and is good enough that when he showed up at work with the face tattoo, he gets fired. You walk into AutoZone and Chris Malone is working there, that's your guy.
AutoZone would be it, though, because Advanced Auto Parts has a no face tat policy.
I feel like that's maybe true.
Probably, maybe. Who knows? I don't think any one of them have a. What was it, Greg Giraldo that said why are you surprised when you see somebody working at McDonald's with wearing their underwear on the outside of their pants? Is not a policy that McDonald's has. Is on the underwear inside the pants policy. Doesn't exist. I don't know. I just don't think, like, I'm not saying anyone with face tattoos are bad. I don't think that tattoos make somebody bad. I just think face tattoos show bad decision making.
I think it shows different decision making. That's the main thing that I'm trying to do as I get older, is just like find a way that whatever somebody's into, like, I try to be like, well, you know what? I get why that'd be right for them. It's just been like, no matter how weird it gets, it's like somebody's like, well, Bonnie and Frank, they went and joined that BDSM cult that, like, well, I mean, that makes sense. They were always, a little rough with each other. Now they can, do it in a controlled, safe setting. So,
God, man, you know what I just realized? That we have switched roles. Because you used to be, like 15, 20 years ago, you were that angsty, angry, I'm going to get my point across, fuck everybody mentality. And I was the, hey, man, it's all good. Like, I just see the good in everything. And now I'm where you were, and you're just relaxed, loving life. And I'm terrified by everything. How did we switch that? Oh, my God. I just realized that. I'm the angsty old dude, is what I am.
Yeah.
Where did I go wrong?
I think you'll get over it.
Where did I go wrong?
You'll move past all that. It's because you got sober.
Probably. Yes, I am, Nicole. Am live at the house. How are you? I don't think sobriety had anything to do with it. I think
I don't think that's why at all.
But no,
I think
this is something I would have talked to you about. Like, and I'd actually planned on talking to you about. Like, hey, man, like, is it normal to completely be empathetic for everybody under your roof and a complete Wolverine to everybody outside of your house? Because I am such a dick when I go out and talk to people.
I'm sure I am too. I think it's just, to some extent, I mean, I've learned, like, the older I get, I've learned and accepted the fact that the people that are willing to put up with me, like, I got to be a cooler to, because I get how hard I am to put up with.
Right.
It's a lot more easy, it's a lot easier to be, to return that when you recognize that you're getting it, versus like out in the street, it's like, I don't know that guy. That guy's just a dick. Maybe he doesn't know he's a dick. So I should tell him he's a dick, and then maybe he'll grow and learn from it. Like,
I'm so I don't know. It's just it's hit me lately, especially going out. Like I try to. All right, perfect example is I went to a McDonald's about a month and a half ago, and I went through the drive-thru. They didn't have the 2 for $5 Big Mac that my fat ass wanted, so I was like, oh, well, that's all I came for. So I don't know really what to get now. I thought the girl said, well, get on then. So I was like, fuck you. Screamed it into it, pulled out of the drive-thru, pulled up my car beside, like right there in the drive-thru lane, swung the door open the inside, went in there. I'm like, what did you say to me? Trying to be fucking rude? She goes, you were rude, sir. I was like, well, what'd you say? She goes, well, what can I get you then? It hit me. That is actually what she said. And I was so aggro and so intense. I was looking for anything to trigger having an altercation.
With a Karen.
I was being a Karen. I was. I felt so bad, dude. I went and got her flowers at the food line next door. Everything. Took them back. She was like, I'm allergic to flowers. I was like, all right, well, then I tried. But
here's the thing. Like, now I've just gotten to the point where instead of getting angry that my order at almost every drive-thru is always screwed up, now I just sit there, and when they hand me my food, don't move until I've checked everything.
Right.
That guy. I just sit there in the drive-thru and open up the bag, and I make sure all my burgers are right and there's no onions. And maybe that's even worse. Like, if I was working at McDonald's, I'd rather get yelled at than have the guy that just sits there for 3 extra minutes checking everything.
But let's say it's wrong. What do you say? Like, how do you react?
I just go, yeah, because, well, I actually get happy now when it's wrong, because now I'm justifying the fact that I'm sitting there, because they're already looking at me like, this jerk is checking everything. He's going to find out it's fine.
What do you think, I'm not good enough? Go ahead, look at it.
But then when I can be like, actually, this burger has tomatoes on it, and I told you no tomatoes, then it actually justifies me sitting there, so I feel great about it.
Right. See, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. Like, if I see that the burger that has tomatoes on it, when I said there's no tomatoes, I'm going to make sure. You said it. I'm going to Karen the fuck out of it.
I almost beat up the manager of Sonic 6 months ago.
That's funny. I had this manager of Sonic try to beat me up when I was 12.
So I went to Sonic and I pulled up, and a bunch of the machine, like the screens outside, were screwed up. And I went to the one that had a working screen, hit the button, and for like 15 minutes, just nothing, like no response at all. And then a dude comes out bringing food, and I could tell, like, so he's bringing food out, and he goes to a car, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's working. Can you take my order? He's like, yeah. Let me run and grab the next order, and then when I come back out, I'll get your order. And I'm like, cool, no problem. 15 minutes later, now this is now like half an hour of me sitting at Sonic. He finally comes back out again, and I'm like, hey man, can I order? And he's like, yeah, I thought you were just gonna pull to a different screen. How would I know to do that?
When was that a thing? Like, when was that option presented?
Right. How was I supposed to, like? And so I proceeded to start yelling at him. Got real defensive. I was like, you know what? This is the problem with America. You're the problem, because you have a store full of intelligent, competent black people working in there, but you, the white guy who's completely incompetent and a stoner asshole, gets made the manager, and that's why this place is fucked up.
God knows.
Like, white privilege is ruining Sonic.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm just saying, man, I gotta calm down. I don't know what it is. I gotta find something, because it's even my partner, who's the sweetest, most kindest human being ever. I asked her the other day, I was like, hey, am I getting kind of uppity, kind of aggro? She goes, well, I mean, you've been that way and I've just gotten used to it. Like, you gotta remember, we moved in.
Like, this is like, okay, I gotta ask you this real quick. This is like, because it's the third time you said it. You've referred to her as your partner like 3 times. Why that? Why don't you just say like your lady friend, or your old lady, or like, is it just because you guys aren't married yet, and so you don't want to say like girlfriend because you guys have a kid together? Like, what's up with that?
It's more of a thing that she goes more off of a lot, not everything. She's not like one of those people that is gonna put my daughter in every gender neutral thing that there is, and she's probably not gonna put her in much gender neutral thing. But when it comes to it, it's more of just keeping it neutral. Because she calls me your partner, and I was saying girlfriend, but then it did come out to like, hey, we have a kid together. I should probably say fiance because it's just easier. And I did that. She was like, well, you haven't asked me to marry you, and we're probably not going
Just
to
call
for
her
a
your
while.
special lady, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying just start referring to her as your special lady, like my special lady. Like it's because I don't know. There's something so formal about partner. Like, what,
Partner.
you guys own a business
Yeah,
together?
we have.
Like, what are you guys selling oranges by the interstate together? Like, what
We're growing
I mean, it's
kale.
totally cool. Yeah,
We
exactly.
have
Like
a
organic kale.
organic kale garden in our front yard. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. I used to call her fiance all the time, and then it kind of like I felt like I don't know.
It's like without a ring, you don't get to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like well, the boys call me their stepdad, even though that me and their mom are just, we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, they call me stepdad because it's easier for them. Like the 12-year-old literally said, he was like, it's a lot easier than referring to you, the guy that got mom pregnant. Like I would rather.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot easier. Like touche, homie.
Stepdad's way better than that dude railing my mom.
The one that brought another baby into the world.
Yeah.
But no, they I'm the boys have started to get to where like they're realizing that if I'm like, cause I never take it out on them, but if we're out in public and they know, like somebody one of the neighbors said something to the 12-year-old one day, and I don't even remember what I said to him, but he immediately asked me never to come back over to his house again. He was like, I don't think our kids should play together. You were probably a bad influence. I was like, probably a little bit. I don't remember what it was. That was pretty pointless to bring up, but
I love it.
So do you have any shows coming up?
In the immediate, I mean, I've got every Tuesday we're doing the rooftop show in Chapel Hill. I've got some cocktail lounge show next week. Then I've got like a dive bar gig a few days after that. Like, I mean, just nothing. People that are going to be at that are just the people that go there anyways, and it just happens to be comedy night, so it's not like it's people that I'm bringing out, and I'm not getting really paid enough to like go like heavy promo on it or anything. So,
Are you going
but
to
the guy that books
places?
those, like,
Are you going to places that don't
back
care
on the
about
road yet?
pandemic?
No, I'm not back on the road yet. I could be, but I've opted not to
Good
because
choice.
I'm not going out and catching this crap. Like,
Mm-mm.
I'm really not. And like the shows that I've done, and especially my Tuesday show, we're really careful. Like, we have two mics, and you wear a mask. Like, the whole audience has their masks on. They're all spaced out 6 feet. We're outdoors, and we're like wiping the mic down and putting the little like mic cover
Yeah,
things on. Like, they have these, like, they're thin, so it doesn't mess up the sound. But like, you literally, each comic switches them out,
that's
wipe the
good.
mic down. Like, we're going above and beyond to make sure nobody catches the Rona. So, like, I even wipe the hand because it's on a roof and there's like a handrail to
Yeah,
walk up it. I even wipe that down.
that's good.
So, because it's one of those things, man. I want people to be able to come out and have some fun, but what I don't want to do is put somebody at risk.
That's the whole thing
Not
with
so
me,
I
man. I'm so mad with people. Like this gets me furious. Is when somebody actually brings up that this is against my rights. This is suppressing my rights, making me. It is my right to want to go out and have dinner. It is my right. When I hear that, I lose my shit every single time. Like it's
remember when we were a kid and we'd be down the street at like the corner gas station, and there'd be that dude that walks in with no shirt and like two teeth.
right.
he'd start screaming because he didn't have like, and they go, "Hey man, no church, no shoes, no service," and he'd start screaming about, "I don't need no goddamn church by beer," blah 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 blah.
That
It's
was like
literally
every
the
other
same
customer.
thing, but it's the same thing. It's just same white trash idiots that are yelling about. I mean, if they thought they could get away with not wearing pants, they wouldn't wear pants.
I would
Except they
love
got
that
tiny
too.
dicks, so they all want to wear pants.
I hardly ever wear
Hung like
pants.
babies, so they're
I hardly ever
happy to
wear
wear
pants.
pants.
I'm at home all the time. I don't have to wear pants. It's great.
You think people would be way more in favor of wearing masks because the world will see how jacked up their teeth are.
Or like it's the greatest. Like to me, oh man, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Like that's where I've lost my shit on people, especially at grocery stores. Is like watching somebody encroach this elderly person's space who's wearing a mask at the register, and then here's this dude or lady or whoever and their 4 kids all sitting around coughing up on the lady's ass, trying to like reach past her to put stuff on the conveyor belt. And then the lady kindly asks, like, "Hey, can you back up a little bit? We're supposed to be 6 feet." And you have the balls and disrespect to say something to one of your elders about your rights? Get the fuck out of here.
I love that I live in like an affluent, liberal, like upper, like college educated enough neighborhood that my local grocery store, I never see that stuff. Like,
Dude.
I mean, I don't, if I went like a mile farther and went to Food Line, I'm sure I'd see that. But Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and Harris Teeter, I haven't seen any issues. So.
Yeah, I don't have enough money to go to Whole Foods or Harris Teeter.
Afford Harris Teeter.
Even the Harris Teeters here, like they're all cool, but it's the Food Line right up the street, man. It makes me mad. It makes me real mad when people. The one lady tried to like get up on my mom's back and like say something to my mom back for my mom saying.
Who doesn't like
just
6 feet apart? It's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This whole pandemic thing just gave me an excuse not to talk to the people I didn't want to. This has been amazing. Like.
I'm a fan.
I love it. I don't want it. I mean, I want people to get better. I don't want more people to die, but I'm okay with stage 3, Cooper. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, I'm
Dude, that's your prog rock band's name, by the way, Stage 3 Cooper.
Stage 3 Cooper. In our first album, 6 Feet Away. That's great.
6 feet away, 6 feet under.
Man, I'm just looking at all like our pages where it's streaming, and there's starting to be a lot of people join. So I'm like, oh well, we're overtime right now.
Okay.
Are you playing fantasy football this year?
No, I don't really play fantasy. I haven't played fantasy football with any regularity in a good 10 years.
Yeah.
Like honestly, this year, I'm not even really watching football much. I'm like this is the first year in 6 years that I haven't had Sunday ticket, and I've just kind of checking scores, and I'll see a few minutes of this game. Like if if the Giants are on a nationally televised game, I'm watching that. But and it's been the least. I was so obsessively watching the NBA playoffs and and all that I watched so much that kind of sliding through this football season. Plus, my Giants are terrible. It's not a fun year to watch football. And like with the NBA bubble, like the NBA bubble was actually pretty cool with no fans because of the way they did it. But watching an NFL game and every time the camera pans around, like you're just reminded about Rona because there's like either like 25% or nobody there. It's just I don't know. I'm just
or the cams of people's Zoom meetings up on the walls.
Like this, like right now, what we're doing was like the NBA Finals audience. It's crazy.
Man, I'm for the first time ever, I'm playing with my friends again fantasy, and I've won one weekend so far.
Mm.
I don't understand how it's happening, but it's. And I have a great team. I got Mahomes as my quarterback. I got a great team going, but I've still yet to win more than one round. What do you think about? What do you think about how your Blue Devils are looking this year? Your
Don't care, honestly.
I've been
That's
waiting.
this year. Like, I know they'll be fine. They'll be a top 10 team. Carolina at least once.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think anybody knows enough about college basketball this season to even make predictions.
Yeah,
Nobody's even thought about it.
Well, your guys have had such a rough last few years.
Yeah.
It's been.
Yeah.
It's almost been in work, because the one thing that made the Carolina Duke rivalry so much fun was that both teams were always so good. Now you guys aren't holding up your end of the bargain. It's like playing state.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough. But well, I would like to bring you back. Sorry, I was trying to get this thing. Multitasking sucks for me, dude. I was up so early this morning. Like,
Get some rest.
When did Henry start sleeping through the night?
Hoping soon.
Okay. And how old is he now? 3? Is he 2 or 3?
6.
He's Henry's 6?
6.
He's not 6. Is
26.
he?
Finished college.
Henry's not. He's tall as somebody in college, but he is not.
No, he's 4.
4? Okay. He's still not sleeping through the night?
Sometimes not.
Okay. We got a call here.
Ew.
Call from.
Calling us.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
this is James Hodge and Billy.
This is James Hodge and Billy. Who is this?
It's Donald Trump.
It's Donald Trump. Okay. That
What's
was.
up, man?
How you doing? Who is this?
It's Tim.
Tim who?
Tim Griffin.
Tim who?
Tim Griffin.
Oh, Tim with a Y. Oh. That's the only way I'll ever say your name to anybody.
Tim Griffin?
Yeah, it's Tim with the Y.
I'm glad you said. Oh, okay. What up, Tim Griffin? I can't hear you very well.
Well, he doesn't have a very predominant voice.
He's got a good voice. I just like Tim. Say something.
Billy.
Are you in somebody's closet right now? Are
He
you
is. I
okay?
think he's actually hiding in somebody's closet.
I'm in a safe space right now.
You're in a safe space?
Yeah, until December 14th.
Do blink once if you're safe.
Should we call the police?
Do you need help?
I do need help.
What did you want to chat about tonight, Tim with a Y?
I missed the point.
Why can't I hear him? What's going on here?
You should be able to.
I
Oh,
hear
wait.
him.
Hold on. Hold on a second, Tim with a Y. Let me change windows so James can hear you. There you go. Say something.
What's up, man?
Oh, now I can hear him.
Yeah, there you go. Now we can hear you.
I can't hear him.
No, you won't be able to hear him. I don't think. Unless I can fix that.
What I say?
I'm sorry? Something just tells me that Tim with a Y just died.
No, what we do need to do though, we need to do this, and we'll figure out a way where he can actually pop in,
Mhm.
and we can all hear him, and it'll all be nice.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. This whole Google line thing is new. Thank you, Tim, for letting me know that it's actually on. Because I was just looking at it. Because I've gotten 2 voicemails and I haven't heard it ring. I got to figure out how you can hear stuff too. I mean, how he can hear you, besides just listening to the stream. There's got to be a way.
It's fun to bust Tim's balls, but I like that kid. I like how hard he works at comedy. I like how motivated he is, and it's fun to tease him about his politics. But I like that kid. He reminds me of you back in the day.
Reminds you of who?
Ooh, from back in the day, when
Who?
you were all
Me.
bitter and angry at the. Yeah, when you're all bitter and angry at the world.
I'm bitter and angry at the world now. I used to not be.
But I love teasing that kid though. I love busting his balls and giving him a hard time. But he's just out there living his life, doing his thing, and he's having a fun time with it. So good for him.
Yeah. I'm neutral. I mean, I don't dislike him. I'm not like, oh my God, I love him. Like I'm neutral. Like if I see him, I'm like, hey man, what's up? Like it's not somebody I'm gonna throw rocks at.
I like people. I mean, he's trying to be an edgelord, and good for him.
See, this is where I'm talking about though. Like it's not that I have any hatred for anybody. I just don't extend out any extra love.
Fair. That's fair.
Is that fair? Like I'm not being a dick. Like if I was riding down the road and saw Tim with the Wise scooter broke down on the side of the road, I would stop and I would help.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, what is it about dudes with the last name Griffin though?
Yeah. They're usually bad news. I finally got that one to drop the lawsuit. The charges.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Finally.
That guy's still a cop?
14 years later. I don't see how. I don't see how.
He's the example I give of like the reason I don't trust cops is dudes like that guy. Because those are the dudes that were like literally in high school. Like they were third string on the football team and then ended up getting cut. Like the best thing they could ever do is like watch a more athletic black kid play the position they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they've got all this bitterness and anger and hostility. And so they turn it into being a cop because nobody ever listened to them and nobody ever gave a shit what they thought. But now they have required authority. And you can see it in those dudes. Like that dude that was like kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Like you can look at that guy and you can tell like nobody fucked with that dude in high school.
Right.
That guy was a straight up, like he wasn't smart enough to be like in the nerd or dork crowd. He didn't have any musical talent, so he wasn't even a band geek. He was just that guy on the periphery of like the stoners wouldn't hang out with him because he wasn't cool. Like, so it was just that who never got in, didn't see a titty till like 26. Like, and that was in an awkward situation. Like,
well, the one we're talking about, I will openly say that I hate him with a passion.
And to be clear, that's not Tim with a Y.
No, that's the cop.
That's
we're
a different
talking
gentleman.
about. Different Griffin.
Officer Griffin. We can just
Officer
refer to him as Officer Griffin.
I understand why that guy hates me. I did a lot of weird stuff to him in high school. I flirted with his mom
I
so
get why he didn't
hard.
like me too.
Yeah, but how is that? How come we grew up doing this? If one of us did something messed up, the other one was usually involved. And how come you always made out being loved, and I was always the one that they were like, yeah, fuck Billy. Man, come on. And you're like, yeah, fuck Billy.
So charming is all.
Is that it? I remember that Griffin over at his house at a party, and something got broken. And we broke it. Me, you, and Hasty broke it.
I'm
and
sure.
Nicola was there too. And when it got broke, we basically took the blame for it, but it was all my fault. It was all my fault. And then there was the night where the thing with the Griffin guy, where we took a pack of hot dogs. We were drunk and went home and took a pack of hot dogs and called the cops on me. That's what the charges came for, because he said I said over the phone I was going to stab him with a knife. I would never say that to somebody. I would never say that to somebody.
You wouldn't. But you would, like, put hot dogs under their car door handles and stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know what we did with him. All I know is I tried to get a bunch of jobs, and they were like, did you make a threatening phone calls when you were 20 years old? I'm like, I don't know. This is the first time hearing of this. I'm 30.
Too funny.
But
way too funny.
Anyway, we're going to do this again, and I would actually like to get together with you to put together maybe some stuff like clips, things the discussions that we actually want to debate about. I was honestly using this platform tonight to be able to talk to my buddy that I haven't talked to in a long time.
Like, that's the thing, man. It's like life is hard right now. You got a little one, I got a little one, and bigger ones. And, you've got your, step bigger ones. Like, it's like, there's a lot going on, man. I'd love to get your, you and your lady friend and your kid and my lady and, our kid, get everybody together. We all hang out and barbecue or some shit like fucking middle-aged men do.
We just put them all in a room and make them fight and we watch. That would be.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling your lady would win.
And, like, Henry's totally ready to start throwing, like, game at, your daughter, so it's cool.
Dude, look, there's a little boy. Tilly already goes to school because my lady, how's that, is a teacher, is a toddler teacher. So Tilly already goes to school every day. She's already learning all this stuff. She's doing great. There's a little boy there that my family keeps fucking with me, calling him her boyfriend. And it makes me so mad. Like, I will go find this kid, and I will kick this kid's dad's ass. I will burn their house down.
Like, man, like, I don't care. Like, I get so excited. Like, when I pick Zelda up from school, and she's, like, standing there talking to some boy, like, I'm immediately like, that's awesome. Good for it. Like, look at that kid trying to throw game at my daughter. And, like, luckily, she has been trained well enough, and your daughter will be trained well enough that it's going to take some skillful game to actually work on her. So, like, don't worry about that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. You're her dad. She's been, like, hearing, like, top-level professional grade bullshit her whole life.
I can't say you're wrong. I mean...
like, truly masterful levels of bullshit. And, like, if... like, she'll know how to deal with you, which means she'll know how to deal with so many, like, shitty dudes. And she'll just... whoosh.
I think she's definitely, between me and her mom, she's going to be tough. Like, she's already, like, a little daredevil. Like, she crawls on top of stuff, belly flops off of it, and...
So don't sweat that stuff.
I don't know. My dad says the same thing. He was like, you better enjoy this time now while you can and not worry about that. And no, I'm using this time to prepare. Like, I know.
build up your dad's psychological armor and just get as tough as you can.
Like, I know you can't. I know you can't make somebody gay, but you can try.
No,
you can try.
I want her to grow up and have, like, a healthy, happy relationship with, all the things. And, like, you don't want to deny her the good parts of life by trying to dump a bunch of stuff on her. Just let her be who she is. You're going to make sure she's not going to end up, on a stripper pole. She's not going to end up in some cult. She's going to live her life. She's going to have fun. She's going to meet dudes, date dudes, and it's going to be fine. Like, don't deny her the joys of life.
I'm going to start throwing softballs and Playboys in her crib with her at night.
No. Just be excited. Like,
mobile mated carabiners to go above her crib.
Oh,
I'm just gonna try. No, everything will be cool. It's just one of those things. Man, I'm new to this still. Like I'm only 16 months into this. Like, and there wasn't much time of me even getting used to being a stepdad before it all happened. So Robin laughs at me constantly. Like she's just like, oh my God,
yeah.
where did that fear even come from? Well, like that's just the way I think. Like that's just.
Dude, keep her safe. Make sure she feels loved, and so she doesn't have to go out and get it from the first random jerk off who's halfway nice to her, and it'll be fine. You're worrying too much. You don't have any control over her, man. Like, she's gonna be whoever she's gonna be. The best you can do, like, think about it. Your parents tried so hard to make you like a respectable, good member of society,
Yeah.
and you're not, because you're who you are. Like, if anyone's parents could have, just from sheer force of will, created a Republican, it was your parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't.
No.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're not that important.
She'll be.
You're not.
Fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
She's gonna do so much better in life than you.
Oh God, I hope so. Jesus
Same thing
Christ,
with
I
my
hope
kids.
so.
Like, my kids are all gonna
Yeah, they're gonna soar.
Be, you know,
I.
they're gonna finish college before their 30th birthday. Everything. Like,
Mine might not have to go to high school for 5 years.
yeah, I mean,
It's
he does. You know.
Jesus. I don't know if I feel better now or
Right,
just more.
You're fine, Billy. You're doing good work.
Thank you.
You're
I think
a
I am.
good dad, Billy.
I am
You're
a good dad.
Good dad.
I am a good dad. People on Facebook tell me so every day.
It's so messed up too, because like as dudes, we can like once every 6 months post a picture of your kid, and it's just 100 messages about what a wonderful pot. It's like so nice to see a father involved in their kid's life. And it's like, really, like, guys getting away with doing so little and getting so much credit for it that, like, I know it's got to just drive women insane. Like I've seen women react. It's like, why is he amazing?
I hated it when people said during the after Tilly was born, they'd be like, "Oh, you did such a good job." I'm like, I had nothing to do with that. Like I had 30 seconds to do with that, and that's it. And then
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly one of those. You should be like, seriously, we didn't even upload it to Pornhub or anything. How do you know?
Wasn't worth it. Wouldn't even have had time to buffer before it was over. Just a quick. That's just a
Wham bam, life is created, man.
2 pumps and a baby. Anyway, I appreciate you coming on tonight. We're gonna do this again every Thursday night, 8 to 9 p.m. on these channels, and I appreciate you, buddy. Hang on, and then for a second when we go out, do you have anything you need to promote?
Well, yeah. Oh man, I want to promote you. Everybody that's watching this, make sure you're following all of Billy's stuff and check him out on the other social medias and all that jazz, and like keep on rocking with Billy Rain.
You're
Billy
sick,
Rain.
You yelled that at my high school graduation. That and It's About Time.
And at band competitions. Yeah. To be fair, you were 36.
Yeah, I was. It was just a few years ago. That's what it was.
Yeah. You had already started going bald. So.
I was doing that at 19. God damn. All right, everybody.